Morning, my friends. I am Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama, bringing you our thought for the day on this fantastic Friday. What a joy it is to meet with you this morning by way of the internet. And I hope that you will remember Sunday morning, 8:30 worship, 9:45 Bible study, 11 o'clock worship. We are having a great time. Ram Corps is going to be with us this Sunday morning. So come and fill up the auditorium in both services. It's going to be great. Right now, we're in Hebrews chapter 12, and we're picking up in verse 3. We're talking about Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. We got to keep our eyes on him so that we can finish our race well. Now, look at what he says in verse 3. He's our example. Remember that. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, lest you become weary and discouraged in your souls. Think about what Jesus went through for you and for me. Because it's easy for us to get discouraged, to think, oh, this life is just too rough. I can't believe that I have to go through this. Look, what we've endured is nothing compared to what Jesus endured for us. And he did it not for himself, but for us. He was perfect. He lived sinless life, and yet he died on the cross for us. It's easy for us to get tired and discouraged, but he's the one that did this for us. And so we keep our eyes on him so that we can make it through. Look at verse 4. You have not yet resisted the bloodshed, striving against sin. Now, what he's talking about, you guys who are reading this letter, you haven't died yet. You haven't been crucified yet. You haven't been stoned to death yet. You haven't been sawn in two yet, like some of these folks that we read about in Hebrews chapter 11. And these Hebrew Christians probably hadn't been arrested yet, most of them. They had not yet suffered because of their faith. And yet they were still considering going back to that old way of life. Why? Because they'd been ostracized from their families, because they had lost businesses, homes, probably had to move to get away from the angry neighbors that couldn't believe that they would give up the life of Judaism to become a follower of this sect called the Way. He said, you've not resisted to bloodshed, not yet resisted to bloodshed, striving against sin. But notice that one word there, not yet. It was coming. He knew it was coming. Paul knew it was coming because all of the early Christians faced this. They had to fight for just about everything to survive. It was coming to them. And they needed to understand, as difficult as it is now, it's going to get worse. Boy, have you thought about the message of the New Testament? It's not a real good recruiting message for folks, is it? Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you've got to take up your cross daily and follow me. Jesus said, the world hates you because they hated me. Jesus said, blessed are those who are persecuted for my name's sake. Look, the whole concept of Christianity is not about having an easy life. Now, we have an easy life here in America. We don't struggle. We don't suffer because of our faith. Not most of us. I think it's coming, but to this point, we're doing pretty good. We have not yet resisted to bloodshed, striving against sin, striving against the evil of this world. Now, we do strive against sin, but usually it's the temptations that plague us, the things that the enemy knows will cause us to stumble. But here's the thing. He tells us in verse 5, and you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks to you as to sons. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor be discouraged when you're rebuked by him. For whom the Lord loves, he chastens and scourges every son whom he receives. I said this yesterday, and I want you to keep this in mind. It is the testing of our faith, the trials and temptations that come, that develop steadfastness, endurance in us, which results in maturity, Christian perfection, as he says in his word. But here's the thing. Understand this. God is going to discipline us so that we will know when we're wrong. He's going to chasten us when we step out of line. And he only does that because he loves us. Now, discipline is not the same thing as trials and temptations. Discipline is for when we stumble and fall, and he wants us to get back on the right track. Trials and temptations are there to help us grow in our faith. Think about that today. We'll talk about it some more on Monday, but right now, be blessed. I'll see you back here then.